5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome once again to this special fan meet. And it was the third day of the Boxing Day test match between India and Australia in this ongoing Border-Gavaskar series. Another riveting day of test cricket where India dominated again. And although they were bundled out within 49, and within 49, I'm saying for the first innings, as they continued with their overnight score of 277 for 5, but they could just add another 49 to their total score and got out on 326, managing a lead of 131 runs. But in reply, another scintillating, another stupendous bowling effort from India, as they reduced Australia to 133 for 6 at stumps. And this is I'm talking at stumps that India and Australia, Australia is 133 for 6. So this kind of bowling effort, and this shows that the kind of performance from India, and the spirit. This shows also about yesterday what we talked about, the mental toughness of the players, and how they overcome that psychological setback. And again, Steve Smith. There was a lot of talk about Steve Smith, that he wasn't there in the previous tour when India toured Australia in 2018, and India won that series for the first time ever an Asian team won in Australia. But this time around, Steve Smith was there, and today again he could not just perform, and was bowled down the legs. It is very tough to get Steve Smith out down the leg, and many bowlers have tried to get him LBW on the pads, or just bowl him down the legs, but it isn't possible. And today Bumrah did that as he got out bowling, playing a ball down the leg. Sat Sri Akal, Paji, how are you?
Yes, very well, thank you.
Paji, another riveting day of test cricket, as I was mentioning, and as we yesterday talked about the domination of India, today they were bowled out. They could just add 49 to their overnight score, but another stupendous effort, another brilliant effort in the bowling department by the bowlers.
Yeah, it's been a really good performance, and I think what I always thought that the Indian bowling lineup would be, suited to these conditions. You've had Jasprit Bumrah, who's done well in the Melbourne Test match previously, and he seems to help the other bowlers, like Mohammad Siraj, who's, I think he's been a great find. We've got Yadav, who's obviously injured with the calf injury, and got 10 days to see if he can recover from that. But with Mohammad Sami being injured, there's like a healthy crop of fast bowlers, which we never probably would have kind of think that India were able to have at least 5 or 6 group of fast bowlers, and I think it's been a great addition to the team.
Yeah, Paji. And now coming to Ashwin, I'll talk about spinners, because there was not much for the spinners as far as rough or some patch was concerned on the pitch. The pitch didn't wear and tear. There was no rough, there was no patch, but there was a lot of talk about Ashwin versus Nathan Lyon. There was a lot of comparison, but the way Ashwin has thus far bowled in the series, is the top wicket taker so far. So what's your take on the comparison which people do between Ravichandran Ashwin and Nathan Lyon?
Well, I think with Nathan Lyon, he gets that extra bounce on the ball, but most of his balls kind of bounce over the stump. And I think Ashwin is a bit more attacking because he bowls slightly fuller, or he'll have a more of a loop on the ball where he wants the ball when it pitches to hit the stump will just bounce over the stumps. So his lengths will tend to be slightly fuller, while Nathan Lyon, he naturally gets more bounce. So then he looks to bowl slightly, maybe a little bit shorter than Ashwin, and therefore, he may not be as attacking when it comes to wicket unless he gets them out on the bounce. But I think Ashwin has much more variation. You can see him bowl around the wicket, the way he got, Burns out. He bowled that ball, and Lavashane, and it was a great piece of variation. Seam position, sliding with the arm. That I don't think Nathan Lyon has that that level of variation like Ashwin has.
Yeah. So as we say that action speaks louder than words, so this is the best reply Ashwin is giving to his critics. Also talking about Ravindra Jadeja, there was a split as far as opinions were concerned for his inclusion, that maybe an extra batsman, a specialist batsman could have been included in the side. But yesterday the way he batted and today the way he bowled, he's the only bowler to have picked a couple of wickets. Rest only managed to take a single wicket each. So the way he bowled, irrespective of whether there was no rough on the wicket, so still he managed to pick 2 wickets. So what's your take on Ravindra Jadeja's bowling?
Yeah, look, you look at his record, he's averaging 24, he's got over 200 test wickets. He's up there with the greats when you look at his average. And people don't really talk about, his name being mentioned with the likes of Shane Warne, Mutama, Lithuran. Once you average under, let's say, 26, you're kind of like, that's the level of, performance he can produce. It's because of Ashwin, Ashwin is the main spinner there. But I think it's because of these conditions in Melbourne. The pitches tend to go slower and lower as the days go by. You kind of like the pitches aren't as quick. So these, if the next test match is in Sydney, you definitely play 2 spinners there. But if this was in Brisbane, it'd be difficult to see can you play 2 spinners, because a wicket doesn't suit 2 spinners there. So look, Melbourne, Sydney, Adelaide, these are the venues which I think you can probably play 2 spinners, and it looks like the next test match is going to be at Sydney. So I reckon it'll probably be the same team, possibly. If Yadav doesn't, get sort of recover in time, they possibly could play. And what's happened to Ishant Sharma? Where is he?
Paji, as far as Ishant Sharma, there was a mail that he's fit, but he due to the workload management, he was not sent to Australia. As far as the information which was received from BCCI, that he is fit, but what I feel is that he's not 100% fit, and that was the only probable reason why he was not sent to Australia. But still, what information is received from BCCI, it is only that he has recovered, he's fit, but due to workload management, we will not send him to Australia. That piece of information we got from BCCI. So Adit also joins us, Vidarbha cricketer. Hello Adit, welcome.
Hello, Monty sir.
What's your take on today's play? Another day where India dominated.
Yeah, it was really pleasing to see India in a driving seat. As we were speaking yesterday, that 130, 140 lead will be like good enough, but it's like more than good enough. India is already in the winning position, and I'm pretty disappointed with Australia's batting effort. I don't know.
Actually, I was coming to that only, that at one stage when the 6th wicket fell, I thought India would win this test match today itself, but Cummins and Chris Green actually played that out. So Paji, in one sense, we can also say that Australia's batting has also been exposed. It looks really brittle.
Yeah, look, I think like Travis said, for example, look how we played that shot. on the up, got himself out for 30s. Steve Smith doesn't look like he's in a great form at the moment. So there could be some changes. Possibly Wade is too high for me. If you ask me, Wade needs to be lower down the order. He's a similar player to Rishan Pant. 5 or 6 is a better position. And there'd be a question mark on Travis Head. They're like, you've got to be more responsible. You can't just, get to 30s and then give your wicket away. So, in my opinion, I think, there needs to be a bit more responsibility, amongst the top order. And it's very similar, to we were thinking about the Indian top order. It's only Virat Kohli, a test match ago. And you can see how quickly things can, turn around when you show a bit of grit, bit of determination. But this Australian team, I don't know. They just, without David Warner in that team, they kind of lose that edge, And Steve Smith, I think he struggles against the Indian pacers because of the angles, the way they bowl. It's, you look at Jasprit Bumrah, he's always coming in at you, similar to like Makai Natini style. Mohammad Siraj naturally bowls a bit wider. He actually bowls the widest out of everyone when it comes. So when you look at it, when you're playing against, Yadav, who bowls really close to the stumps, Mohammad Siraj is quite wide. Then you have Jasprit Bumrah, just a couple of steps. That's all it is. He walks in most of the time. I've been watching him bowl, and there's a couple of steps. How does he generate that pace? So as a batsman, you're thinking, I can't really, be settled in one position. When I line myself up at the crease, constantly changing angles, constantly moving around, and it's got to be a concern for Australia, but it's huge encouragement signs for India. India could, if they compete playing like this, they could potentially win the series without Virat Kohli. Now that is huge for India because in the past, if they relied so much on him that it's good to see that India actually are a strong enough team to compete without Virat Kohli.
Yeah. So Aditya, not many times we see Steve Smith getting trouble down the leg. Many bowlers try to actually hit him on the pads. They feel that they can do so, but it is never successful. But today, the way he was bowled by Bumrah down the leg, and at in one dismissal against Ashwin, also he was trapped with that off spinner and got out on leg slip. So getting out down the leg is not something which Steve Smith is habitual of. So is he mentally absent and physically present thus far in the series?
No, it's just that right now he's not into that good form, maybe, and maybe he's just focusing on Ashwin. That's why maybe it's happening. And as you see before this series, Ashwin mostly got him whenever he was bowling that straighter one. So I think that's why these things are happening. I'm pretty surprised that Australians have gone with like normal wickets. They are not going with the green wickets because apart from Bumrah, they do not have their other spearhead bowlers like Bhuvaneshwar and Shami. So I think most probably they should go for green wickets.
But to your surprise, I would mention that Adelaide had 8 millimeter of grass, and Melbourne is having 11 millimeter of grass.
No, but if you see the Melbourne wicket, it was turning from the day one. If you saw Smith's dismissal, it was turning. I was like totally surprised. Like,
so Paji, so it's a very curious question, Paji. Despite of having a layer of grass, was it just to bind the wicket and the moisture in it actually helped the spinners to grip and turn the ball, or was it something else?
Well, look, there's a combination of the grass, but also the weather conditions. Like you see in Melbourne, especially at the back last session, the weather completely changes quite a lot with the wind conditions, and overnight it gets really cool. So it's gonna, like, with the last couple of days being really hot, it kind of takes some moisture out of the pitch. So early on, you're going to think that, with a turn in that wicket, there's always going to be, because of the slightly mixed weather conditions we have in Melbourne. I think it allows for the spinners to come in, to actually, to be, like in the game, most of the time. And the reason being is that because, with extra grass, it kind of helps the seamers, but also it allows the bowlers to grip the ball, with that fresh grass. There's a bit of grip there. It's a dry grass in Australia that really, doesn't help, to get that sort of turn on the pitch. So Australia got to think how do we make the conditions favour for us, and do we just go for flat wickets, and produce just, no grass on the wicket, flat wickets, and we back our fast bowlers to actually deliver, and then take the spin out of the equation. You completely take the spinners out of the equation by producing really flat wickets, and I think that's what Australia should look to do, because the grass on it, I think, allows India to get back in the game.
Yeah.
Sir,
So
and
one
even
last
e-
one. Yeah.
so even on this
Yeah.
point, if we see the length of Australian bowlers, it's like pretty, it's on like back of length rather than fuller. If you see the length of Indian bowlers compared to Australian bowlers, and with their first match lengths, they were bowling quite full in the first match. That's why they got the results. In this match, they were bowling back of length. I was
Yeah,
totally
especially in the
surprised.
second innings of Adelaide, they just bowled in that channel
Yeah,
of
yeah.
6 to 8 meters. Correct. So
Even
last question. Yeah, please.
even in this innings when they got this guy Shubman Gill and Vihari, they were bowling quite full, but uh, I was totally surprised with this kind of stuff
Yeah.
because India were bowling full and they were not. And if you see the overall situation in both the matches, uh, India won a lot of sessions rather than Australia. Apart from just that one last session in Adelaide, that
Yes.
India played pretty badly. Apart from that, India has been on top of them throughout the series. So
Yes. Correct. Agreed. So, Paji, one last question, and this is about yesterday. We talked about Ajinkya Rahane, the batsman, and how he delivered in that pressure situation. But today, talking about Ajinkya Rahane, the captain, his bowling changes, his tactical moves, and the way he actually called for DRS when in the case of Tim Paine's dismissal, he was at the slip and he straight away, without even looking at the keeper, Rishabh Pant, he immediately called for the DRS. So, Ajinkya Rahane, the captain, your comments on Ajinkya Rahane, the captain?
Yeah, look, Ajinkya's had a great game, and his confidence obviously shows that once he can. I think he thrives on scoring like difficult runs, runs which needs a lot of grit and determination, and then it helps us with his clarity of thought. But when we talk about it's easy to captain a team when you're 150 in front. It's not that hard. Let's be honest. Even you can captain a team with a great lead. Everyone's full of confidence, full of beans.
Yeah.
Everyone feels positive, and that's an easy bit, and great on him. He kind of like shown, he kind of like led from the front, which surprised us all. But he kind of produced this could be one of the best, away wins for India, and probably one of his best hundreds, he's produced. But it's great when they're on top, and this is how they've got to. This is what India need. This is how they've got. This is the kind of stuff I think Ajinkya Rahane needs to recognise that this is why do I do I captain well, and one of the reasons he does it really well is because of Ashwin. Ashwin's a senior figure in the team. They're both from very southern state cricketers. They both gel really well together. So Ashwin is kind of his vice captain in the team, if you ask me, and I think they both it helps him being at slip. He's there bowling. That combination is a really good combination for both of them. But coming back to the dismissal of Tim Paine, that was a shocking umpiring dismissal. That wasn't out. His front foot dragged on the crease. They picked up the edge, because part of the edge is also that when you get the sound, you get noise from the front foot moving, thigh pad or any other sort of dismissal. and it clearly missed the edge, and his front foot moved, and the umpire gave it out. I don't think the umpire spotted that front foot, and he
Paji,
gave it out.
a lot of umpiring decisions in this series have been disappointing, and that's why some of the ex-cricketers also are now calling for neutral umpires. Why can't they be in the bio bubble?
Yeah, look, I agree with you. I think there needs to be, that a top elite list panel, whoever they are. You can't keep having these, really bad decisions. There was another bad decision in the Big Bash. It's like it hit his pad in one of the games. He gave it out, and after he's thinking, "What's going on here? This is like shocking decision." And it's, look, you don't want it to be a common theme. You want it, you're allowed to have a couple of bad games. You kind of like think that's okay. But if it keeps happening, then you kind of like thinking that this decision of Tim Payne. Look, all Australia needs is another 100 runs. 4 wickets down. You never know. 100, 150. Suddenly, it's a different ball game. Tim Payne in the team right now, 5 down. Probably got a good chance of getting another 100 lead. And it could be the difference between, winning or losing if they get that extra lead. But that's all, said. I think India's probably played the better cricket overall. And with 10 days rest after this test match, you expect India to win. But I think the huge positive has been Ajinkya Rahane. There's always been that question mark. If Virat Kohli is not there, can India still perform? I think the answer is yes.
Also, as you mentioned, in the huddle, also, it was not only Ajinkya Rahane dominating the huddle and giving the pep talk. It was Ashwin also who was seen giving the pep talk to the teammates, and also talking to various young bowlers, especially Siraj. So, Aditya, your closing comments on the captaincy of Ajinkya Rahane?
Yeah, it has been superb. He really did a few good changes throughout the bowling as well as in the batting order also. I think that move in the first innings where he gave Ashwin the first change, I think that was very pivotal because he played with Smith's psyche because he was getting better of him. So that was really the masterstroke. Even with the fielding
Yeah.
positions, you can see it's a different Indian team you can altogether see on the field.
Yeah, there's a correct. So that's it for today. Hopefully, India will wrap up this test match tomorrow as early as possible, as they just need 4 wickets, and will chase the lead which Australia will get. So tomorrow, hopefully, we'll meet with India's win, and that's it for today. Goodbye, viewers. Thanks a lot, Paji and Aditya, for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you.